Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Um, Merry Christmas. We finally made it to that most wonderful time of the year, and I am at a place that's very familiar with me. I'm at my mom's house. I'm in my old bedroom, and I tell you, there's no place I'd rather be than here. Um, you're probably noticing I'm not wearing a T-shirt that I usually wear. Well, you see this nice polo that has the CH shield on. Well, that's only because earlier my family and I went over to my grandma's house for our annual Christmas dinner. And the food was great, and it was great to be around everybody's company. And that's what Christmas is about. It's about family. It's about family. It's about food. It's about talking about in my family. One thing about my family that's so awesome, we always talk we talk about food, we talk about faith, we talk about education. We and then we just talk about a lot of things. I mean, there's no limits, and there's nothing out of balance. And I'm not saying every family should be that way, but I know a lot of families who are that way. um, Before I go on with the ranting, to say this, I want to talk about. I made a mistake last week in last week's show. I left out a book that I bought last week, and it's this book here, Scarlet Spider number 25. This is the last issue of the series. In previous issues, he went up against Craven the Hunter, who is a classic Spider-Man foe, and he goes up against him and his daughter Anna. And in the last issue, Anna carves up one of Scarlet Spider's friends, and carves it and almost kills him. And so his significant other goes and finds out some stuff on Scarlet Spider's past. Of course, Scarlet Spider's real name is Kane Parker. And he's an imperfect clone of Spider-Man. And he finds out that about Kane killing people in cold blood while he was living in New York. I haven't read this yet, as I haven't read a lot of them. But as soon as I do, I'll let you know what happens in a future issue. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Christmas. I'm going to talk about Captain Marvel. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let the ranting begin. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is Captain Marvel. I just read the last issue of the series, which is number 17. And first off, let me tell you a little bit about Captain Marvel. Her real name is Linda Danvers. She's a former airman in the U.S. Air Force. And during her time in the U.S. Air Force, she gets captured by this race of aliens called themselves the Kree Empire, and she's been given powers to match their own genetic makeup. And some of those powers are flight. Um, she can manipulate these energy blasts from her hands, and and limited super strength. Um, Recently, she had gone to a doctor's appointment and found out that she had a lesion in her brain brought on by using her powers as much as she did throughout the years. And there was this villain that came about called Magnetron, who she was very familiar with because Magnetron is of the Kree race, and he was ousted by the Kree Empire for crimes against the Kree Empire. And she didn't want to risk using her powers and causing bodily harm against herself. So the Avengers stepped in, and they tried to stop him, but were unsuccessful. So Captain Marvel had to step up to the plate because there really was no other way. And the power that she was that the doctors told her not to use was flight. And she had even had a custom made flying contraption or what have you, and she used that at first, but then she just got tired of it and without hesitation started to fly. She beat Magnetron, but then she ended up being lost in space, but she didn't die. She lived, but she just suffered memory loss. So that being said, she had to end up going to the while she was in the hospital, she had to relearn everything. She had to learn about herself, her past, her time in the U.S. Air Force, her time as an Avenger, her what her powers are, how she got them. She and because she was an ex because she was an Avenger, she had to learn all the powers of not only the X-Men but just about any mutant on Earth. And then Captain Marvel number 17, she's trying to readjust to living back in New York. And in earlier issues, she had got kicked out of her apartment, and but recently they celebrated Captain Marvel Day, and Mayor J. Jonah Jameson, who is now the mayor of New York in the Marvel universe, um, he ended up giving her not only a key to the city but a new place to call home. And get this, it's in the Statue of Liberty. So, but with that being said, she's not saying goodbye. She's not gonna. Carol Danvers is no. I mean, she's not gonna give up being Captain Marvel. As a matter of fact, she's gonna still appear as an Avenger and as Captain Marvel in the pages of the Avengers. So, will she get her own series? I don't know. I don't know if she'll ever have a series again. But she's one of my favorite Marvel characters by far. Okay, now I want to talk about the true meaning of Christmas. You know, you know, a lot of times, folks celebrate Christmas mainly. They think about Santa Claus. Santa's gonna leave gifts and all that. But there's really nothing wrong with that. But the true meaning of Christmas is when we celebrate the birth of Jesus. And I love talking about this. Um, he was born in a manger. Mary gave birth to him, and then the three kings had found a bright morning star, and that's when they knew that's when they knew about Jesus. And I, thing is, I'm not afraid to talk about this. I have no reason to be afraid we because there's nothing wrong with talking about Jesus. Nothing at all. And because he's a miracle worker, y'all. He has gotten me through so much. The Word of God and the examples of Jesus have gotten me through so much in my 32 years on this earth you wouldn't believe. And but anyway, he was born in a manger, and he lived for 33 years and performed miracle after miracle and touched so many lives. And then one day, he suffered on a Pontius Pilate, and he gave his life that we may have life and we may have it more abundantly. And I think it's a joyous time um, because I'm sorry. It's just that whenever I talk about the Word of God, I just get excited. But anyway, the Jesus was thing is that I just can't stop talking about Jesus. I can talk about comics all day, but you talk about anything in a biblical in a biblical sense. I can you're thinking, wow. And I thought, wow, Vic, I thought you're really into comics. Yes, I'm also really in the Word of God too, because it's real, it exists. And if you're watching this and you really don't, and this doesn't really sit well with you, then you really don't need to be watching this show. Just saying. Okay, uh, that's all the ranting I have. So let's get to the comics I bought today. First up is Forever Evil #4. This is this awesome miniseries from DC, and it pretty much features the crime syndicate from who's from a parallel Earth where all the superheroes are evil and all the villains are good. And in the previous issue, Lex Luthor decides when he finds out about them to do something about it because, well, it's not that he thinks that they're Justice League. He just thinks that that he doesn't really see he doesn't he doesn't really like the idea of some villains coming from a parallel Earth, to take over. So he puts mayors into his own hands, and he also has his own twisted version of Superman called Bizarro, and then he recruits some other folks like Black Manta, and and you can tell by this cover he also encounters Batman. So it's really Lex Luthor versus the crime syndicate with some help from other villains. But I've read the first three issues, and this book does not disappoint. It is awesome. And up next is Uncanny Avengers, but I bought four issues because I'm lagging behind, and those issues are Uncanny Avengers #12, which continues the Apocalypse Twin story arc, where they've come and they want to destroy the world and whatnot. And then Uncanny Avengers. I don't know what this one is about because although I can tell you, this one gets away from the Apocalypse Twin story arc, as well as Uncanny Avengers number 14. And early on in the series, Rogue and the Scarlet Witch aren't really getting along with each other, but that's only because of what Scarlet Witch did at the end of the House of M miniseries that ended at the end of 2005. She pretty much, um, well, to talk about that is to talk about it from the beginning. Um, at the beginning of the House of M story arc, she was manipulated into altering altering life on in the Marvel universe, where the humans were the endangered species and the mutants are the dominant species. And somewhere along the way, some of the characters in the miniseries snap out of it, and the Scarlet Witch was the last one to do so. And then she re-altered, she changed things back, but with only one exception. She took away all the mutant powers of all but 198 mutants in the Marvel Universe with only three words: no more mutants. And Rogue doesn't really like the fact that she's part of the team, and she pretty much hangs the fact that she did that over her head in every issue. And then lastly, Uncanny Avengers #15, which comes back to the Apocalypse Twin story arc. Um, I can't wait to read these because it's such a great book. Rick Remender does a great job writing it, and they've had some great artists. They've had John Cassidy, they've had Daniel Acuna. Of course, John Cassidy is most famous for penciling Captain America Volume 4 and and Astonishing X-Men. And then Daniel Acuna, he's been all over the place. He's been with DC and Marvel. He DC he did the artwork on the Flash at one time, and he's also done work on some of the various X-Men books as well. All right, up next is Batgirl numbers 25 and 26. And Batgirl number 25, it's a 0 year tie-in to the 0 year story arc in Batman. And it talks about Barbara Gordon, what she was doing around the time Batman first appeared in Gotham City. And in Batgirl number 26, it's the conclusion to the Wanted story arc. And in this one, Commissioner Gordon is on endless pursuit to hunt down Batgirl and arrest her after the death of his son and Batgirl's brother James Gordon. And as you can guess from this cover, she unmasks herself and reveals herself to Commissioner Gordon. I haven't read it, but I'm quite sure that it's gonna be great, and it's gonna make and it's probably gonna make me almost crap my pants. Okay, up next is well, actually R Nightwing number 26. And one thing that's going on with Nightwing right now is that he's moved from Gotham City to Chicago. That's only after he finds out that Tony Zucco, the man who murdered his parents, is still alive, and he's on an endless pursuit to hunt him down and bring him to justice. Trust me, he's not going to kill him. He knows better. One thing about Nightwing that I want to talk about for all of you who don't know, Nightwing is the first Robin. He was, excuse me, he was a he and his two parents were members of an acrobatic team called the Flying Graysons, and Tony Zucco, while they had it fixed to the point where he messed with all the with some of the equipment that the Flying Graysons used in their acts, and his parents fell to their death, all because of him. And after that, Bruce Wayne took him in as his ward, and then he later found out about that Bruce Wayne was Batman, and he decided he wanted in, and of course Batman said no at first, but then over time, when he started gaining his trust, he became the first ever Robin. Now, so far in the DC universe, there have been four people that have called themselves Robin. It was Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and Batman's son Damian Wayne, who was murdered in the pages of Batman Incorporated sometime last year. And I don't know if there's ever going to be another Robin, but I hope so, because I don't care what anybody says. Batman can't be Batman without Robin. And the other issues of Nightwing that I bought are Nightwing number 25. This is also a 0 year tie-in with the 0 year story arc in the pages of Batman. And this talks about Dick Grayson while his parents were alive, and they had that the acrobatic circus team called the Flying Graysons. And it also talked about what he did on the side from away from being the Flying Graysons. And then next is Batman number 26. This pretty much picks up where Batman number 24 left off. He's still trying to hunt down Tony Zucco and bring him to justice. Okay, next up is Justice League number 26. This is a tie-in to Forever Evil. And now this time they get to go up against Sinestro. And of course, Sinestro has, the same point of view that Lex Luthor does with the crime syndicate. He wants to get rid of them. So what happens when Sinestro goes up against Green Lantern's evil doppelganger Power Ring? Well, Will it will it end well? Will it end badly? Well, I don't know yet, but as soon as I read it, I'll let you know. Okay, next up is Indestructible Hulk number 17. This is a tie-in to the Inhumanity story arc that's going on in Marvel Universe, and this time the Hulk wants in because apparently no one else on the Avengers can stand a chance against all um, these genetically altered humans that are popping up all over New York and all over the world. So will Hulk smash or will Hulk get bashed? And finally, we have Avengers number 24. This is the first issue after the Infinity Story arc, and this is also a good book to read for anyone who wants to read Avengers. This is a good jumping on point book, and there's this new thing going that's about to start in the Marvel Universe starting next month called the All New Marvel Now, where most of the books are going to be continuing, but there's going to be some new books that are going to be coming out. Some new Avengers books, some new X-Men related books. I mean, I'm looking forward to it because there's just going to be this new book called Avengers World, and there's also going to be a book that's similar to the all new X-Men story arc is going to be called All New Avengers, and in this one it's going to be the founding Avengers, and in that one I'm talking about Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Ant-Man, and Wasp. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was 13 comics I bought today, which brings the total up to 6,060 comic books in my collection. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I mean, this is the 12th episode that I've done, and if you're watching this, it's probably already Christmas Day, but but right now it's about 18 minutes till 10 at night on Christmas Eve, and the only reason I'm doing it this late is because I had to help my mom, my sister with some things, because that's just how we roll on Christmas. We always help each other, but it's but usually we go the extra mile when we're doing something usually on Christmas because we just want to make sure that because we always have Christmas here and we want to make sure that that everything's done and and everything is right. But if I as I always say, and you know what, I'm serious when I say this, people. If you have any suggestions for the show, any at all, please let me know. If there's something I'm doing, if there's something I'm not doing, if you think it's going to make the show better, I'm all ears. I mean, I always leave my contact information. Well, everything's except my cell phone number. I don't give that out publicly. But if any of my friends, when you're watching this, you have my cell phone number, call me, text me. And come on, don't be shy. I won't bite. All right, well, that's all the time I have. I'm Victor Nunley. I'm the comic hero. We'll see you next time. Till then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and Merry Christmas.